Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Wilcots. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where I do a daily live stream on the Oracle card that I draw on a daily basis. Yeah. It's basically be me connecting with my spiritual team and asking what's the most important energy that we need to know about today for the highest good, right? And I've been doing card draws like that for, gosh, years and years. And it wasn't until it's been a year, I think, that I started adding a quote from the card draw that I do on the Star Nations organization's business Instagram account. And then in May, I had this grand idea that maybe those in Star Nation's community would like to know more about that card draw and have a conversation about it, right? And so I started doing these live streams. Yeah, I used to do them in the morning. And how life flows and goes, I sometimes have to do them in the afternoon, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share out the live stream to a couple of different places. Because I've switched it from morning to the afternoon, there are some people who probably don't realize that we've done that for today. So I'm going to share, make sure my sound is down. I'm going to share the live stream. All right. All right. Whoops. Don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. I don't know why I'm frozen on there, but I am. I'm going to share it to my timeline, my newsfeed, and just going to write a short, hi, friends. Oops, friends. And I'm live streaming right now. And then please join me. Love those quick keys, but sometimes I get too quick. There we go. Hey, Anne's with me. Hi, Anne. Good to see you in the chat. And I am going to, I don't know if it's my cameras that's dirty or if it's the sunshine that's coming through. The patio doors, it's kind of streaky. And then I'm going to share it to the Star Nations Radio Network closed group, because that is where most of the active community members are. And just going to let them know that I'm live streaming. And to please join me. Me. There we go. Make sure I get it to the right group. There we go. And I think I'll send it over to the Academy page too. Academy group. There we go. Done. Done, done, done. Hey, thanks, Anne. She says I look great. I'm so glad you think so. Because let me tell you, one of the things that's been going on is we are on a deadline to get Star Nation's magazine October issue published. And, generally, most times I have loads of time to get that done. Star Nations and Elm Publishing, who do our layout for us, usually we're like days ahead, we're done. Yeah, so it's kind of a relaxed kind of, we're not under the stress and the pressure, of a deadline. Well, we are, but it's not like we're right up against it, right? And this month we're right up against it. And so this is me with just eyeliner and a little lipstick. No makeup. And Sunday hair. This is what I call Sunday hair when I don't do much with it, right? Yeah, because I've gotten a lot of screen time. In other words, I've been at my laptop working on the magazine since 8 o'clock this morning. Took a little bit of a break to get Mom's her luncheon, and for me to take Georgie over to my puppy, George, over to puppy daycare. Actually, we're calling it puppy school. And so that's why it's so quiet here right now, is because George isn't here. He's having a blast over at puppy daycare. Yeah, with Rusty and I think Diggy and I think there's like 3 or 4 other dogs there. So, so anyway, today is Wednesday, not Tuesday, like I wrote the first the first promotion this morning. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, October 10th. October 10th. Yeah, it's yeah, my anniversary is going to be on the 13th in 3 days. And one of my nieces, who lives down in Iowa, Alexis, she's getting married to her longtime love. And they're getting married on the 13th, I believe. Yeah, I wish I could be down there, but I wish them all the best and a happy marriage. They've been together for a long time, years. And to have a fun reception and to celebrate, right? Yeah. Yeah, and saying that's so good for him about George, isn't it? Though I think so. That he actually gets to play with furry four-leggeds instead of non-furry or less furry two-leggeds. And the trainers there are really really good. I think it's called Club Vet, and they do lots of things with the puppies there to get them used to being at the veterinarians, and so they take them for walks and stuff inside the building and to different areas and that sort of thing, so they get familiar with the building, with the sounds and with the smells and that sort of thing. And they also get them used to being handled. In other words, brushed, and they get their nails clipped and that kind of stuff, Yeah. And they get to play a lot with other dogs. I guess when the handler this morning was telling me that George is probably going to get a bath today because the one larger play area is all mud. She goes, they're going to have a blast in there today, but they're going to need to get a bath. So George is probably going to come home with a bath, which is good for him too, right? I know that I could do it here at home for him, but literally, he just getting his gentle leader on him. It's like a wrestling match. I can't imagine what a bath time would be like. But anyway, that's what he's doing today. Hey, Elise, good to see you in the chat. I think, Elise, and I was going to look again at the message. You had asked me if I was going to be moving the non-show to the afternoons. And I meant to answer it earlier this morning, but kind of got sidetracked. Chances are I am going to move the non-show to the afternoon. Why is because out of the last like 7 days, I think I've only done 2 morning shows. The rest of them have been afternoons. Because you know why? Because the morning gets kind of busy. And between Mom and George, any time that I had in there for like cushion, I guess is a good term, is gone. It's not there. And so it gets really busy in the morning. And I don't want to start the live stream under, literally just running into the building and sliding into my chair and getting started. And so, chances are we'll be moving it to the afternoon. And also, Paul is going to be going on a hunting trip to Colorado at the end of this month, and he'll be gone for I think 12 or 14 days, something like that. And so definitely we'll need to move it to the afternoon then, because I won't have any help in the morning, because at least Paul's there to help with George a little bit in the mornings before he goes to work. So so you'll be catching me at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. At least for from now until maybe, I don't know, December-ish. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes, how we end up um, maybe it's going to be better in the afternoon. Who knows? We'll find out. Yeah, and Elise is saying George will be super tired. I know. I can't wait because last week when it was his very first time at puppy daycare, we call it puppy school because he really is in training. Um, yeah, he came home and he ate and he was out. He got up, went outside to go to the bathroom a couple times, and he was like, you know, sitting at the bottom of the stairwell to go up to bed and up into the bedroom, and so Paul took him up and put him in, put him down for bed, and he was up there the rest of the night. So yeah, he'll be tired, a good kind of tired, right? Elise says, okay, more difficult for me in the afternoon, but we'll try to be there. Yeah, and there's always the archives, the recorded shows, anytime you can't make it. I certainly appreciate you guys being here with me and having that spiritual conversation and hanging out for a while. Yeah, mornings are just more difficult to get everything done in time in order to come up here and do the live stream. So we'll see how it goes, though. If nothing else, we're flexible, aren't we? I like to think so, anyway. All right, so today's card draw. This guy has come up. This is, I think, the third time since we started using this new deck. And this new deck is by Kyle Gray, and it's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards, right? Yeah. And we just started using this last month, mid-month, in September. And we've had this one card at least 3 times since we started. Good. Well, thank you, Elise. Thank you for sharing the live stream. Yeah, I shared and liked it too just before everybody started joining. Like the couple seconds we were into the live stream, I shared it out too and asked others to share. So I appreciate that. I do. It just makes it easier for people to find us. And since this is a non-show, Elise called it this, I don't do a lot of promotion around it like I do our other live stream shows. Yeah, it doesn't have any cool kind of promotional stuff around it. And the chances are that we might get that started too. The only thing that's holding me back on that, to tell you the truth, is I kind of like the informal feeling of it. It's like we're just meeting for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and sitting around the dining room table and chatting, right? Chatting about the card that was drawn and the information that it holds. So it's the only thing holding me back. Hey, Jackie just joined us. Hiya, Jackie. Lee said, watch Polly Joe as well on Archive. Love her. Yeah, she's a good one, isn't she? She's a good soul, and she's got a sense of humor. I love that. And we watch our own recorded shows too. Like Connie will catch the different other shows that are recorded because she works during the week, right? And so she does watch the archived shows, the recorded shows. I do too, because I try to make all of them, but there's occasions when I just can't. And so I watch the recorded shows too. Yeah, we like those. All right, so this first card that came, we've had this guy before. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time we've gotten the Knight. Be brave and honest. Be brave and honest. And when I look at this card, it reminds me of the Knights Templar, right? And if you look in the background, you see, the other side, you see the rose and the chalice, right? The rose and the chalice. And those are symbolic of Mother Mary. And the roses, anyway, the goddess. And the chalice, of course, the Holy Grail. And there's a belief that the Holy Grail was not just a wooden cup. that it was actually symbolic of the woman's womb, and that we are, the females are, the Holy Grail. And it's about spiritual growth. This card is all about spiritual growth, being brave and being honest and standing in our truth about our own spirituality, our beliefs, which means that we probably have to kind of go through our belief systems to, I'm beginning to think that is my camera. That's all kind of streaky, and I don't know why. Geez, I'm going to ask you guys, can you see the streaks? I'm wondering if that's coming from the French doors, the sun, or if that's coming from my camera. Because when I sit forward, you can't see it. So it must be coming from the doors, is what I'm thinking. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Anyway, this night, and with the night, we're talking about bravery and being courageous. The knights, what they would do is they would pledge their sword, pledge their lives, literally, to the crown, to the royal family. And they were their protectors, right? And when I read that in the description of the card, the first 3 times, in fact, let me get that out, because it's a direct quote, and I want to make sure I get it right. I think it's on page 44. No, 46. When Kyle talks about the crown. All right, so the sentence goes like this. The knight is a knight in shining armor, dedicated to the crown that his sword defends. Dedicated to the crown, right? Okay, thanks, Anne. She says it looks like it's a reflection from the door. That's good. Good to know. I'm thinking, no, not my camera. Dedicated to the crown. And here's my feelings on that, is the crown can have at least a couple of different meanings here. I know that Kyle's talking about like the king or a queen, the crown, right? But I have to say, the first time I read that sentence, I was thinking about the crown chakra. That's what came to me, the crown. And that to be courageous and honest and dedicated to the crown. And so it's dedicated to our own soul growth, dedicated to our learning as much as we possibly can about aspects of our soul growth. So for those who just love reading, which is most of us in Star Nation's community, love reading the spiritual books, voracious kind of reading, right? I remember those early days. I read, and I would have like 3 or 4 books going at one time, and have that information, just absorbing it, right, as quickly as I could, and then actually applying it, so I could actually learn experience from it. And so with this card and dedication to the crown, I'm also thinking that this night is about us, our inner warrior, dedicated to our crown, to our soul growth. And one of the things is, I think it was Polly Joe was here. It must have been last week, Thursday or Friday, that we got the night again. And she was saying that he looks like he's guarding the doorway, standing in front of that doorway. And it's dark behind him, right? And so we could take that in a couple of different meanings too. The darkness could be our facing our dark side, right? And we've talked about that lots of times here, is that, it's when we turn around and face our fears or when we face that part of us that is, I don't know, very human. Let's put it that way. Our humanness, that dark side of us, right? Because the only way that we can do that is to recognize our light. And without the light, there's no dark. So with this night, this warrior about being brave and honest is when it does take some bravery to face those aspects of ourselves, to turn around and face those fears, to face the darkness within us, right? And to be honest with ourselves. Because everybody has a dark side. Everybody does. And even those people who are happy all the time, and they're positive, and they'll turn a less than positive or a negative situation, they'll spin it into something positive. I do that. Been called Pollyanna before. But facing those dark aspects of ourselves takes bravery, and it takes being honest with ourselves, right? That we have them, and to admit that we have a dark side of ourselves, and that is the part of us that we try to learn so much to bring light to that part of us. That's the part of us that we work very diligently to heal. Yeah, to heal, and also to release, because we talk about especially if we have any kind of entity attachments, that kind of thing, we work very, very, very diligently, once we realize it, is to rid ourselves of that entity, right? Yeah. So that warrior part of us, standing in front of that doorway, and the thing is that the other meaning of that dark doorway behind him, you can also take that as the feminine, the divine feminine, the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine many times is symbolized by the dark. In fact, even in Chinese feng shui, when you have a house that has a lot of windows and it's very bright, many times they don't draw curtains, they don't have anything to block the light. That's a very yang or very masculine home because of all the sunlight. All right. And then there's other homes that have, lots of trees around them, and they might even have bushes in front of them or around the door or the windows. And so there's a lot of filtered light that comes in. And so it's more shaded. There's more shade. And the interior many times it's a much darker interior. Some homes, sometimes they have those deep overhangs, like covered porches. And so it makes the room a little bit darker, right? In Chinese feng shui, that would be a feminine house. That would be a yin house, because of it's more shaded, more dark. Yeah. So the doorway that this knight is protecting, standing in front of, could be our feminine aspects of ourselves, the sacred feminine, the divine feminine, and in that protection. And it could even be, drawing on that being brave and being honest, because there's, in society, especially in the West, there's many, both male and female, who are uncomfortable with femininity, because as women as young girls, many times we're taught um, to be uncomfortable with our feminine side. And so, how many women do you know that walk more like a man? The hips don't sway. um, that kind of thing. And we're concerned about that we even have hips, right? So maybe it also is that kind of bravery is to really embrace being a woman. And if you're a guy, is being okay with that feminine side of you, to be able to show your feelings and to be nurturing because you have it. But lots of times what we do is we suppress it, or we ignore it, like it's not valuable. Yeah. So it depends on how you want to look at it, what feels right for you, right? The Knight. And Kyle Gray, the author, he says that the energy of respect is important right now, and that you're being surrounded by a light of bravery to help you, and that this card can also bring justice, and that you're feeling the need to defend your spiritual path at this time. Back down and let it protect you. Let your spiritual path protect you. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Hi, Cindy Lynn. So glad you're with us. It's good to see you in the chat. Cindy Lynn says, but there are many people that are resistant to healing the dark parts of themselves. Yes, it is. Yeah, there are. There are, because it's not easy. It's not an easy path. It's not the path of least resistance. There's a lot of resistance to it. And sometimes the resistance is in not just recognizing that and saying, yeah, that is that part of me. It's that they don't want to let it go. They don't want to shed the light on it. They don't want to heal it. Something like that. Yeah. Cindy Linson, I had to rid myself of an entity long ago that was only making things worse within me and my outer world. I still have practice daily to keep it at bay while also learning and healing shadow parts. Yeah. Sometimes those entities are difficult to not bring back that energy, a similar entity. It's generally speaking, it's usually not the same entity. It's an entity that has the same characteristics. And where we find that most often is around addictions. Yeah, around addictions. So the person who is having an entity released and they have an addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs or some sort of addiction like that has more of a lower vibration too, right? Because we all have an addiction of some sort. Some addictions aren't as dark as drug entities. Some of us are addicted to books. The purchasing of books. How many of you guys have a stack of books that you're planning to read, right? That they're kind of in the queue to be read? Or those of us, because this was me a long time ago, shoes. Shoes. I had an addiction to shoes. I had lots of pairs of shoes, and I still have quite a few, but there's not nearly as much as there used to be. And so, or smoking, right? Yeah. So the addiction entities are, depending on what the addiction is, can be very difficult to have removed. We can remove them, but if the person is unwilling to either face the root of their addiction, why they're using a chemical of some sorts, possibly um, to hide, you know, to defend against memories, that kind of thing. Um, or maybe they're super sensitive and they've never took the opportunity to understand their gift as an empath. And so the alcohol, the drugs, perhaps dull that part of themselves. So they're not feeling as much, right? So what happens is the person recreates the feeling about the addiction, recreates it because they crave it. And when they do that, when they step back into it, they open themselves up to another entity that's very similar to the one that had just been removed. And so it's kind of cyclical. And it's not until the person makes the decision that they're going to literally fight for their lives, fight for their life. Yep. Because, the entity doesn't have a physical body. Doesn't have a physical body. So the only way that they can feel the effects of the drug is to encourage and to create situations where their host, because it's like a parasite, their host is makes a decision to use whatever it is that they're addicted to. So that's why it's difficult to have one removed and have it stay removed. It is, we remove the entity and that one's gone. But many times the person that we're trying to help is that they're recreating the situation and drawing to them another entity similar to the one that was just released, was just removed. Yeah. Does that make sense? That's why we need to get to the root of the situation. You're so right, Cindy Lynn. She says people are also addicted to being the in their shadow. Yes, it's called victim. It's called the victim. And sometimes it is the bully because they're bullying themselves, really. But you're right. They're addicted to the drama of it. It's like watching a soap opera. Addicted to the drama. Heck, these days, all you have to do is watch CNN or one of those infotainment channels because our government certainly is turned into a soap opera. There's a lot of drama around it. And when you have that much drama, you also have trauma, right? And you're right, Cindy Lynn, that sometimes it's the addiction to the emotions and the intensity around situations that people are addicted to. It's that adrenaline rush. It's that, yeah. And actually, it's a sense of control too, because when you're in a victim role and you don't want to move out of it, even though the situation may have reached a resolution, another situation gets created, and so they're right back into the same energy field as the one that had just got resolved, right? And so they recreate it. And sometimes it's because you're right, Cindy Lynn. It's because they're the center of attention, right? That there's a part of them that craves that, and so they recreate it. Yeah, and there again, getting. Thank you, Cindy Lynn. She goes, "Yep, I agree, Neshi." It's really getting to the root of it, And how many people do you know who what they want is just a quiet life? I want to have peace in my life. I don't need to be around those people. And so the next thing they do is they start withdrawing from people and end up pretty much like a hermit, sometimes it is to recharge your batteries and to give you some space and some perspective. That's the word. Um, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, um, yeah, when they want to, change their life to have more peace, and when they start um, experiencing that, many times what they miss is the adrenaline rush of the drama and craving it. And it is like a drug. They crave it. Um, sometimes sometimes we're a part of it and we don't. Oh my gosh, it's called gossip. You know, there's some people who are very addicted to the gossip. They want to know all the nitty gritty stuff. You know, they want to know. They ask you those kinds of questions, and try to um, live vicariously, sort of. And I'm not one who does drama. Not I don't. Um, I try to resolve it. Spent too many of my early years in the drama of things, right? And making the decision is that only I can put an end to that. The only way to stop a game is to stop playing. To stop playing. And then I turned inside and said, okay, what part of this is me? What part of this is me? And so it goes back to being brave and being honest. Being brave and being honest, and making those inquiries of yourself. What part of this is mine, right? And being responsible for that piece, and only that piece, not someone else's piece. Not trying to change them, not trying to, because sometimes we want the change more than they do, and then we get really invested in it and emotionally, and when it doesn't happen, we have all of those emotions around it when it's not even ours. That's a soap opera. All right, so the second card that came is this one, Guardian Angel. You are not alone. And I like this card. So many of us are connected to feathers and birds, aren't we? And in the background, of course, there is the star nations in the background. But if you look down below, you have a quarter moon, and then you have a full, could be the sun, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. And up at the top, you have the Vesica Piscis, which looks like an eye. That's the third eye. That's your intuition. And right smack dab in the middle of it, you can barely see it, is the star tetrahedron, or the Merkaba, by another name. Guardian angels. Now, when I read this, Kyle was talking about how our guardian angel has been with us through other lives. It's the same guardian angel that was with us from the time our soul was conceived to today. So in every incarnation that we've had the same guardian angel. And I have to say, I never really considered that. I never really thought about, gee, I wonder which guardian angel I have this time. No. According to Kyle and his beliefs, is that we have the same guardian angel our soul does, our soul, through every one of our soul's experiences. So there's some continuity to it. Continuity. They knew us way back when. Yeah. I kind of like that. I do. I feel I found some comfort in that. I know that one time, a long, long time ago, and I think it was actually with Carol Daly. She was helping me with some stuff. She was in the chat last night from the show, and we were working on journey work, multidimensional stuff. This was years ago. And I asked her, I said, I want to know, um, the guide, the teacher who has been with me from the beginning. Who has been a part of my soul's experience from the time my soul was conceived? I want to know. And I didn't give it a guardian angel kind of label, lack of a better word. I just wanted to know what spirit that was. And the way that Carol described it to me didn't have a name that you could say in English anyway. And it was really presented itself more like a orb of light, kind of a silvery blue color to it. And that energy, that spirit has been with me from the very beginning. Yeah. And so I don't know, people in the chat, those peeps in the chat, have you ever thought about that, about your guardian angel and being with you from the very, very beginning through all of your life's all of your soul's experiences? Cindy Lynn saying, I'm designing a tattoo that will have the tree of life, the Star Nation's logo and feathers that came to me last night in a dream. Aw. Wow. So if you're designing this tattoo, Cindy Lynn, does that mean that you're going to have it inked on yourself? Or are you going to be, is it designed for someone else, or can anybody use it once you design it? Because, I've been looking for something for a long time. And if it's something that resonates, not just with me, but with others, is that something that you would sell, Yeah. Just a question. I've never gotten any ink done, a tattoo. I've wanted one, but when it comes right down to what is it that you want on your body that's going to be there for the duration, that's when I kind of go, I'm not quite sure exactly what I want and where I want it. So this is the reason why I wanted to have somebody who does tattoos and who has experience to come on my show with me so we can ask questions and get some answers and maybe some tips on it. Because what part of the body, one that doesn't have a whole lot of pain associated with it, with a tattoo, and that with how the body changes, whether you're gaining weight, losing weight, aging, that kind of thing, where's the best placement for a tattoo for it to hold its design? Those are questions I have. Yeah. So Cindy Lynn has asked that it will be for me and anyone can use it. Oh, okay. Well, that means you're going to have to show it to us when you're done then, huh? Can't wait to see it. All right, so let's see what Kyle has to say about the guardian angel. Because there was a couple things that kind of jumped out at me in his writing. So the guardian angel, you are never alone. The message is watch for signs and reminders from your angels and loved ones that they are close by. Remember, they are working hard to guide you. The guardian angel card shows the white feather that has become known as the guardian angel's business card. Whenever a white feather appears in your life or on this card, it's a message to say your guardian angel and ancestor guides are particularly close at this time and that they're there to support you with their love. Everyone has a guardian angel who has been with them in all their past lifetimes and will be there in all the lifetimes to come. So know that you are never alone and never will be alone. This card's a huge reminder that there's always help and support available to you. We kind of talked about that. Was that last? That was yesterday in the yesterday's live stream for the cards. Um, Elise was talking about her great grandmother, who was Cherokee, and we were kind of talking about that a bit. And that you don't really need to know her name and all of the formal, like the genealogy kind of part of it to have her in your life, to get to know that spirit, that soul of that who was your great grandmother, that you can connect with her and from soul to soul or spirit to spirit, to get to know her. Yeah. And so Kyle kind of mentions that, right, about our ancestors, is that they're here, and whenever we talk about them, there's a reason why they come up in conversation, is because now this is what I believe is that they come to us, right? Either they're with us and we sense them, and so we have memories of them, or we talk about them like Elise was doing, that wanting to know, or um, the flip side of that happens is that we start talking about them and they hear us and they come to be with us, to check in, to say, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you were talking about me. That kind of stuff. And so guardian angels. It's comforting to me to know that the guardian angel who's been assigned to me, to my soul, has been there with me from the beginning and through every life experience that we've had and that my soul will have. And so what kind of friendship is that? That's that's one of those lifelong friends, right? Yeah. Well, Cindy Lynn, she's saying, yeah, that's the hard part of figuring out what you want and where to put it about the tattoo. I only get tattoos that have meaning to me. So I have a phoenix over my heart, a scorpion on my shoulder, behind the phoenix in the Celtic triquetra symbol, with a raven holding a star sitting on top of my leg, and all of them are on my left side. So the new one will go somewhere on my right side, either my leg or my arm. See, yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Is that do we put which do we put, if we put any of them, um, kind of like on our bodies that is more exposed to the public, right? Or to put certain ones or any tattoo on parts of our body where it's really very personal. Nobody even knows it's there, kind of thing, because they'll never see it, right? Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Cindy Lynn, for sharing about your tattoos and your ink and your creativity, really, in the designing. Um, and it makes me think about it again. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. So these two cards, what in combination, what do they mean together? The Knight and the Guardian Angel, right? When I put them together like this, what my sense was, what I was feeling, is when we consciously address that part of us that makes us very uncomfortable, and that could be a fear, that could be a part of us that is the darkness. It could be our own feminine energy, that our guardian angel is there. All we have to do is ask for assistance. Show us the best way that we can get to the root of the fear, to understand and heal that dark part of ourselves. Ask for help in how we can express our divine feminine in a healthy way, and to feel more comfortable with it if we're uncomfortable with it. And if you are comfortable with it and you're out of balance with it, and we all know somebody who's out of balance with their feminine energy, right? How do I go about balancing it, and so that it is one of my strengths rather than a weakness? So, and we need to be brave and honest with ourselves to be able to do that, right? That's what I think it is. And I think that this night keeps coming up for us to have the energy that's important, because that's the part of us that we need to spend time on, and to draw on that energy of our inner warrior, to be brave and to be honest with ourselves. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? When we put these two cards together, I think it's some pretty deep work, because we're connecting more consciously with our guardian angel. This is a being who has known us, who knows us in the most complete way than any spirit could know us, because they've been there with us every time we've been in a physical body. So they know us, right? So I think it's going pretty deep. Maybe the healing that we're working with, or the life lessons that we're addressing, go way back, way back. And that's why we need our guardian angel to step in to help us to remember and to get to the root of it. And we have all kinds of help. That night, that energy, that warrior energy that will step in to also protect. I like it. Okay, so Cindy Lynn said, so would love to help you. Oh, that's good. And Cindy's saying that, let spirit guide and loosen my need to control certain things. Yep. That's so true. I think we also, many of us have that situation with that control thing. Yeah. It's about balance, and it's all, when we're trying to control something, for me anyway, it's about trust. It's about trust, is to be able to trust that whatever it is going to, there's other people who can actually do the work or do whatever it is. And that I don't have to be involved in everything. So when I was younger, even if it was 5 years ago younger, having my fingers in a lot of things, because of the trust issue, because of, how do we know it's going to be done right, kind of thing. Doesn't help when your mother is a perfectionist and you grew up with them, right? Sure, go ahead, blame it on mom. Not really, no. Oh yeah. Amelia goes, oh yeah, mine go way back. Yep. Yeah. And I think it's time. It's time in the energy field in which we live and the our soul evolution that it's time that we finally deal with those issues that have those deep roots, so that our vibration and our frequency keeps up with grandmother Earth and her evolution, if we want to remain with her. So, like I say, in just about every time we do a live stream, take what resonated with you and embrace it, grab it, carpe diem, seize the day with it. And the thing is that it's important for us to be aware, to notice how the energy is flowing for us today, and how this information can be helpful to understand it. And if it didn't resonate, that's okay. That's all right. You can just let it lie. Or we're saying, that believing that maybe you're a messenger, maybe you were meant to hear whatever parts that you did, because you know someone who could benefit or enjoy the information that was shared today, and you can share the recorded show with them. Yeah. So I am going to go back down to the house and continue working on the magazine. I'm about 2/3 of the way done with optimizing it. Most people don't even think about this part of it, but it takes what it takes to make sure, to put the hot links in to all of the links that are in a magazine, but also to make sure that all of the videos links are in and that they all work. That kind of thing. And so I'm about 2/3 of the way done. And so we should be publishing probably sometime after 6 p.m. tonight. And so you guys will be getting your notifications for that. Okay. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, for the live stream for card of the day draw. So Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.